So welcome back students. So today we are going to learn something really interesting, and this is going to be the last part of the chapter. We are going to understand that how we can calculate, do some calculations from various worksheets as well as from various workbooks. As you know that a workbook contains worksheets. So to understand more, let us switch to Excel, and I will open a Excel sheet, a workbook in fact. So this is a complete workbook, and this particular workbook contains one worksheet. So this is worksheet. At the bottom you can see, let me just just zoom this up. Okay, at the bottom you can see that there is a sheet, and currently we are working on that particular sheet. So if we want one more sheet, I can simply click on the plus sign. So once I click on the plus sign, I will be having one more worksheet. So this is another worksheet that we have, and now there are two worksheets. In fact, I can click one more, I can have an third worksheet. So right now I'm having three worksheets. So basically this particular book contains three worksheets. So you can keep on adding worksheets to your workbook. So the first thing that today we are going to learn is how to do calculations from various other worksheets. So right now there are three worksheets. So we are going to do some data. We're going to put some data in these two sheets, and then in the third sheet we are going to do some calculations, and the data that we are going to take for the sheet 3 for doing the calculations, we are going to take it from sheet 1 and from the sheet 2, and that is what we are going to do. If you refer to the book, and this is what they have given in the book, and I will simply read out for you. So let me just take a highlighter, and so it says that suppose you were working at the head office maintaining, office maintaining data for 6 regions, and you use exactly the same worksheet layout. So basically they are given an example, so we will not really go into this example. We will straight away switch to this particular option. So this is a data, and now this particular data, if you really look at this particular example, uh, this example is about the monthly expenses. So the name, that is the name of the month, and then the house rent, the electric or the electricity bill, the grocery expenses, the traveling expenses, and the mobile phone expenses. So this is keeping a track. So the user is basically maintaining a worksheet in which he is actually keeping the data of the monthly expenses. So let us just type in the same kind of data. It is very simple, so we'll do it pretty fast. So we have name out here. So the first thing that we have is name, and then we have is a name of the month, then we have and May. Let us have for till May. Okay, they have it till June, no issues. And then we can have, that is the first one, that is the house rent, and then the second one that we have is the electricity bill, and then we have the grocery. So I'll just type in grocery, and then traveling expenses, and then we have the mobile expenses or the mobile recharge, something of that sort. And now there is some data out here, so I'll just put some random data. I'm not going to put the same data. So this was maybe the rent can be same for every month for at least for 6 months. And then we have the electricity bill, which can vary. Sometimes maybe it's 700 or sometimes even 1000, or sometime it can go down. Maybe it's a winter season or whatever it is, but since this is March, but I'm just assuming it, okay. And sometimes 400 even, and then I can have 900, and it goes up, okay, something of that sort. And then the groceries, maybe you can have, what is the thing that I've shown there over here is, okay, maybe this is for only for a single person, so it is like maybe 1000 rupees or something of that sort. So I'll keep this same to till over here, and then keep it as 1000 out here. Mobile recharge is also okay. Traveling expenses can vary, so let us have sometimes 200 or 400, 300, 500. Sometimes he took some tour, right? And then the expenses are going to vary. Mobile, let us keep it same, maybe 700 uh, every month, okay. If you find this very expensive, mobile recharge are nowadays not that expensive, so I'll cut down to some around maybe 200, okay. So like so we have done this, and I'm going to just going to copy this and going to, okay, what I did by mistake is I did this in sheet 3, but I wanted this in sheet 1. So I'm just going to remove, I'm going to apply cut, and I'm going to paste this in sheet 1. Now that's the first thing that I did, okay. And then the same thing I'm going to paste in the sheet 2 as well. Okay, so we don't have the copy, no issues. Let me just copy this and I'm going to paste it. So we have it in sheet 2 as well. Let me just zoom this, and then this is sheet 2, by the way. So this is sheet 1, this is sheet 2, and this is a third sheet. So this is just an example that we are taking, and maybe this is for sheet 1 is, I will rename this maybe 2019. So that was the year. So these are the expenses for 2019, and these are the expenses. I will just rename this as 2020, and these are the expenses for 2020. And over here I'm going to summarize this. So this particular sheet I'm going to rename as, I'm going to rename this summary report or something of that sort, okay. I'm going to remove this. So this is 2019 and this is 2020, and this is the summary where we are going to just have the total. I can give this name as total as well. So I just want to see that total expenses that I had for 2 years completely. Okay, this is just an example that I'm taking, though I don't think this makes any sense of calculating the total of the 2 years, but this is just to demonstrate how to do the calculations. So if I come to summary and I can come over here, so this is like, you know or what I can do is, okay, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it over here, and I will copy this as well and go to the summary and paste it over here. Let me just zoom this, and now what we're going to do is, okay, this is 2019, that is house rent was 2500, and this is, and I did not made any change as such. So let me just make certain changes, like maybe this is 300 now, sorry, 3000, and this I can keep it 3000 for all the months, and then certain changes, right, it is going to happen, maybe 1000 over here, 600, and likewise, and 400. So, and then rest of the things I'm just keeping it as it is, children. So obviously the things are going to change, like the grocery is going to be some different amount, right? So rest of the things I'm just keeping it as it is. just I want to demonstrate how it works. So summary, now I am into summary, and over here I want the total of 2019, the month of January, that was the house rent, and for the month of 2020, that is 3000, and I want that exactly over here. Okay, so that's for the month of January and the house rent. So how I'm going to do that? Now let me just demonstrate that. I'm going to start with the equal to sign and just apply that sum formula first thing. Okay, just a minute. I'm just going to just enlarge the width. So I will say equal to sum and then open the bracket. That's the first thing that I'm going to do. After opening the bracket, now what you need to do is go to 2019 sheet. Okay, I'm going to switch to 2019 sheet, and from here I'm just simply going to click over here. That is the cell that I want. Okay, and then from your keyboard, okay, after clicking that, don't do anything else. From the keyboard, just you can type, that is the plus sign. So you can see over here at the formula bar there is a plus sign. Okay, then switch to 2020, that is the current year, and then select the next, the cell that you want. So I want this particular cell, that is the January house rent. So select this, and then just from the keyboard typing the closing, the closing bracket, and simply just press enter. And now when I press enter, what is going to happen over here? Okay, it is going to, you can see the answer is 5500. So if we calculate this, this is 2500 and this is 3000, which makes that as 5500. And now if I just, with the small bar that we have at the bottom, a kind of a handle that we have, so that is a small, a very small rectangle which is called as the handle. So using this handle, okay, if I just hover onto that particular icon, now it's not an icon, it's just that below at the corner we have that square, a little, it looks like a small, very small icon, so it's a handle. So if you just bring your mouse onto that, and your mouse pointer is going to get converted into a plus sign. Okay, and once it gets converted into the plus sign, just drag it, just click, that is the left click, and drag till June, and you can see it is coming down same everywhere because that's the value. I have kept it as constant. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the other things like the electricity bill. So let us go to the summary, and I'll do the same thing, equal to sum, open the bracket, then go to 2019, select it, then from the keyboard press the enter the plus sign, that is you have to press the shift, or you can use the keypad as well. Okay, and then go to 2020, and I'm going to select this, and then from the keyboard I have to give the closing bracket and press enter, and you can see the total out here. And now if I just using that handle drag it to other cell as well, so it is going to, that is a relative reference, and we are going to have this. And now you can see these are the totals. So I can do this for all the cells. So if I really want to do this for the grocery as well, so equal to, then the sum sign, sum formula, then go to 2019, select the cell, then type the plus sign from the keyboard, go to 2020 and select the cell and the closing bracket, press enter, and we have this. And then I'm going to have copy this to all the other cells. So this is how you can do it, children. You can do the calculations from the other sheets as well. So I hope this is pretty clear to you, and now you can do this activity. I'll just close this, okay, everything, and then I'm going to open a new, okay, a new Excel workbook. So I have just demonstrated you how you can do the calculations from the other worksheets as well. So I'm going to open a new workbook, and this is a new workbook, and I'm going to keep things very simple right now, and just to show you how you can do the calculations from the other workbooks as well. So this is the first workbook. Now I'm not talking about the worksheets, I'm talking about the workbook. So obviously a one workbook is going to have multiple worksheets. I'm going to do the calculations from the multiple workbook and not the worksheets. So let me have a number out here, or I'll just have few numbers in fact, that is till D. So these are the four numbers in the cell, that is A, B, C, D, and E, that is A2, B2, C2, and D2. Okay, and I'm going to copy this, and let me just now click on file and open a new workbook. So now we are opening a new workbook, and I'll copy the same data. Let me just, okay, let me first zoom this and make some changes in the data, that is 56, 34, that is 78 and 90. Okay, so we have two workbooks. So I opened two workbook. As you can see at the bottom, this is workbook 1 and this is workbook 2. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a third workbook. So let me open a third workbook. And this is the third workbook. At the bottom, you can see that there are three workbook at present. So that is workbook 1, 2, and 3. And now I'm into the workbook 3 at present, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say start with the equal to sign for the formula, and then I'm going to use the formula, that is sum. And then what I need to do is I need to click on the view option. Can you see this view option out here? Click on this view option, and there is an option called as switch windows, which will help you to switch to other workbook. And once you click onto this, you can see it will show you all the workbooks that are open currently. So right now this workbook 3, it has been ticked, which indicates to you that you are currently on workbook 3. I'm going to go to workbook 1. Okay, just select workbook 1, select the cell, okay, and then click on view again and switch window and go to workbook 2. Okay, so from the same workbook I have to click on view again, then go to workbook 2, and from here I want to select this particular cell. Okay, so okay, the thing that I did not apply over here is the plus sign. So let me just do this one more time. I'll just give escape key, and this is workbook 3, and this is workbook 1 and 2. So I'm into workbook 3 right now. Again, I'm going to show that activity, that is equal to sum, and then open the bracket and then switch window option, go to workbook 1, select the cell, then type the plus sign from your keyboard. That is very important. Click on switch window, go to workbook 2, and then select the cell and then the closing bracket and press enter. Once you press enter, you can see that this is 68. Now let me just switch to the option, that is workbook 1. So this is workbook 1, that is 12, and this is book 2, that is 56. And if you really see that total out here, that is the answer that we have is 68. So that's the perfect answer. So now what we have done is we have calculated the, we have performed some calculations from 3 workbook, isn't it? So this is how you can do it. And now if I really stretch this using that particular handle that we have, and if I do this, and you can see we have the same numbers. Why do we have the same numbers? Okay, the reason we have the same numbers is because this particular formula, what you can see in the formula bar, there is a dollar sign. And what is the dollar sign? The dollar sign will basically keep this reference as a absolute reference, and I hope that you know the difference between a relative reference and absolute reference. So the dollar sign is something that is going to be fixed, so it is going to refer to the same cell even if I just copy the formula everywhere. So you can see it is the same cell, that is A2. If I come over here, it is A2 and A2, right? So I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back where I was and then come back to this particular formula, that is book 3, and I'm simply going to click over here and just remove the dollar sign. Okay, so I'm going to remove those dollar signs from everywhere, and be very careful. Okay, do not remove anything else, and then you're going to mess up with the things. Okay, then now I have this formula, and now if I use that handle and stretch it and copy it to the others, cell, and you can see now we have different numbers, isn't it? And this is now working perfectly fine. So this is how you're going to do the calculations from the other workbook. You can do it from the other worksheets, as well as you can do it from the other workbook as well. So this is was like pretty interesting. And now we are going to switch to the last part. In fact, this is the last part that we are going through of the chapter. The last part is about, okay, this is, I've just shown you how to use the multiple workbooks as linking cells. Okay, so now that we have just done with that, and we're going to talk about sharing the worksheet data, which means that obviously you can share your data. You can just transfer your data from your computer to some other computer. You can share your data to your WhatsApp and everything that we can do. But what this exactly means is, how about if I have this particular workbook, and this particular workbook, I want that multiple people should be working on the same workbook. Maybe I am working on worksheet 1, that is a sheet 1, and the other person will be working on the same workbook but on the sheet 2, and I want the other person to work on the sheet 2, and then there are 10 people working on 10 worksheets of the same workbook. So if I really want that thing to happen, now since I do not have the network out here, but if you really talk about our computer lab that we have, so there is a network out there. There are 50 pieces which are connected with each other. So in that, what we can do is we can share a one particular file to all the computers. Okay, so that I can copy to all the computers, and all the people can work on the same file, can do the same data entry. Means everybody can do some kind of work or some kind of data entry, and it is going to get, the data is going to get fed in the same workbook. Okay, so for doing that, what you have to do is, okay, that simple option that we have is, you have to click on the share workbook option, which comes under the changes group in the review tab. Okay, and this option that we have is, I'm going to show this option, that is this is the review tab out here, and under the review tab we have three options under the changes, that is protect sheet. So this is going to lock the sheets, unlock the sheets. Okay, a lot of options we have, and then we have the protect the workbook. You can have a password. If you put a password to this, then every time it is going to ask you for a password. But as far as the syllabus is concerned, we have the share workbook option. If you click over here, and in this there is a pop-up window in front of you, and over here it says that, okay, allow changes by more than one user at the same time. This also allows workbook merging. So if I really tick this and click OK, and now what is going to happen is, if I really share this, now it is asking me to save. Now what is going to happen is, if I share this workbook on a network, multiple people can work on the same workbook. This is what it means, children. Okay, so I hope that this is now clear to you, since we don't have a network, otherwise we would have done this activity. Now children, left is the, what is left, the exercise part. Okay, so coming Friday we have the class. So Friday I'm going to discuss all these, you know, the assessment part, right? I'm going to talk about the assessment part, the notes. And so Friday I'm going to give you the notes. We are going to discuss all the fill in the blanks, and I'm going to give that in form of a PDF file. First we are going to discuss everything in the video, and then I'll be sharing the PDF file after the video ends. So I hope children this activity is very much clear to you. So please go ahead, try these activities that I've shown today. So I'm sure that you'll be able to do it. Okay, bye for now.